Big up yourself, Sonny. Hopefully, me gonna meet you very soon, cause we must box some about.
I do that, sis. Bless you. Yeah. Bless you.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
God bless
Big
you.
up on yourself, everybody, and
Sorry.
continue to
Have
stay
a blessed day,
focused.
sister. Have a blessed
All
day.
right, Kizzy.
Morning,
Big up
Alright.
yourself.
morning, Kizzy. Morning, everybody. Morning, Kizzy.
Morning.
God bless you,
Morning,
Kizzy.
connecting.
Morning. I'm gonna jump off and provide let somebody else come on and not really staying on today. Me just come preach a little bit and make you know say no distraction, focus on the victory.
Northwest Clarendon today, Kizzy.
Yes, today a phone day. Day.
I don't look nice last
But
night. No,
first, you know, never talk with the people. If they say make we drive where I come. Hey, you rusty me, make you know.
Sonny, you know, so St. Thomas crowd come out last night wicked.
Why didn't
Earl. Gentlemen people. I don't talk about persons, but there's Coda in the chat. There's Coda in the chat, and I want to follow up because she was coming down, and somebody asked her to stay. So I'm respectfully asking that we go back to the conversation.
Yeah, man, go ahead, man. Come really do a classic and the team to finish it up. Hold on, Earl. Earl, go on, you're active.
We need to
Yeah,
go back
man,
to
everything bless up, man. Go ahead, man. Carry that more here about too. Yeah, man.
I didn't hear all of what I just joined. And I was saying that talking about.
All right, let me tell you now, God. All right, let me tell you. Oh, this canvas, this topic come up. Yes, so with the head of JTA publicly a campaign with him big orange flag and him team back him out. Nah, which part they sit the keep? You see me so? All right, my boy, and my general, we and him there all. She not really in politics, but she a teacher and she say it doesn't look good because he compromise in position when by then out there openly. Is him compromise.
Oh, so the meeting is the meeting they're talking about is to remove him.
No, we are say with him out there openly as the JTA head campaigning for the PNP don't look good. Because members say him have to go whatever
I get that, Sonny. I get that clear. But what I don't get is what is his name? Coda was saying.
All right.
She will explain.
Yes. Good morning again. I was saying that when a JT every year you change the Malava or whatever, his tenure has come to an end now. So every year at the annual conference, which will be held Monday through to Wednesday at the Princess Hotel, the newly elected JTA president will be installed. So he would have come to an end now, and it will be done at the annual conference where the Lysandra Harrison will be installed there. So it's not set to take, his tenure has kind of come to an end.
Lysandra Harrison was there too before,
Exactly, and she has taken the JTA to court, so I can't understand how these teachers think. And he kept saying it to them, you can't vote for this woman.
Lysandra Harrison was there before, I remember that name.
Of course she was, and she won.
Is she another PNP activist? Is she another PNP activist?
I think so. I don't want to say because I might think so, because when she was there and she was negotiating and she was called to the meeting, and the delegates decided to accept the package that the finance minister was offering. When she went there and she was supposed to sign, she changed her mind and flew out of the meeting and she didn't sign. And it was the president in waiting that had to sign. That was Mr. Clay, something like that man. He was the one that had to sign the deal because she flew out and she didn't sign, and she was, and it was a big thing even on Cliff Hughes' show. Cliff Hughes was saying this has never happened in all the years, and this woman should not be
I remember her very well.
accepted.
I remember her very well.
Yes, man, that's
I
what she
remember
did
her.
to us.
But listen to me now.
Mhm.
And I'm going to speak now in my capacity now as a former General Secretary of the Police Federation. Public sector employees. And I hear it in the police force, with the federated member. They believe that when, like the JLP is in power now, it is best to get a PMP activist to represent them at their in these bodies, public sector bodies, or public sector unions rather. It is a warped concept. It is a wrong concept because these PMP activists in particular, I have been supporting the Labour Party for 45 years. And when I became General Secretary of the Police Federation, I didn't go there to support my party. I went there to support my members in a professional capacity. So they are wrong. The best negotiations take place around the table, not in any confrontational manner. And I want to also put it out there that this negotiation cycle is going pretty well so far, because the contract period just started April 1, 4 months ago. And this Minister of Finance has gone through a lot of items of claims. The Police Federation, for example, has 50 items, and they have gone through all 50 already 4 months after. It never happened. This is record breaking. Under the PMP, I signed 2 contracts, 2 wage contracts. In that period, they had 2-year contracts. So I signed in 99 to 2000 contract, and that took 1 year and a nearly 2 years for us to sign it, to reach a point of signing it. The second one I signed was 2000 to 2002, and that took, I remember, exactly 18 months, almost 2 years to be signed. So 4 months after the contract has opened April 1, because the last contract expired March 31, they couldn't expect to sign no contract. They are just being, Ali not being the chairman of the Police Federation, they are just politicizing as the next one named Rowan James was doing. They are PMP activists, and the members must boot them shit down too long. As a matter of fact, I recruited Ali McBean in 2001, 2002. I was instrumental in getting her there. I didn't teach her in the dirty politics, because even though I was a strong supporter of the Labour Party, I kept that to myself because I'm a professional, and I take a professional approach to what I do. And I didn't go there to use the office. It would be disgraceful for me to use the Federation office to try and bring in Edo Siaga in power. No, I'm a decent Jamaican, and I put Jamaica before everything. Even representing the members, and I did so very, very aggressively too. If I am seen as trying to put the JLP in power, then that's okay with me. But my motive is to represent the members with my heart and soul. And these criminals that find themselves in these public sector bodies representing political parties, the members should not elect them. They are wrong. The members have a wrong concept. They are not there to represent you. They are there to represent their political parties. You need to understand this. Mala Young, the former Mayor of Port Antonio, the daughter of the former Mayor of Port Antonio, was the principal of a secondary school in Portland, I think somewhere in West Portland. So I think both BR somewhere, I don't remember now, but she was a principal up here. And
Nadine Malloy.
Nadine Malloy Young. And after she went up against the JLP, they put her in charge of Harden, the PMP, when they came in power. That's what they are there working for the party and for themselves, not working for you. And you must have sense, You must have to think for yourself, I'm going to repeat a quote, by F. Scott Fitzgerald. F. Scott Fitzgerald said, either you think or others have to think for you and take power from you. End of quote. You need to start to think. Police, teacher, the whole of the public sector worker. Don't use no PMP activists or no JLP activists to represent you. But then go sit on one side and go represent the party. Information came out that Rowan James reportedly, when he was at Kingston Western in 2011, yes, 2011, the police high command allegedly are now in possession of the recording. Now, PMP guard, PMP paraphernalia report sick from the police station. Policeman reported sick and hold a campaign, openly a campaign for the PMP party. he was caught and recorded, photograph and video recorded. And he didn't, they went after him to terminate his contract. But he survived because the PNP won the election and they kept him. The PNP ensured that he remained there. That's the kind of criminal that they support. And the members of the federated ranks, the members of the teaching general membership and the public sector do not elect no PNP criminal or no JLP criminal to represent you. Because they're not representing you, they are representing your party. Don't elect none of them. Really elect professionals, people who are decent, people who are representing you. Because the PNP is out there, I have never been approached by any JLP operative while I was there, although some of them knew that I supported the party. Not one of them ever approached me to ask me to and give me a statement to go boost up the campaign. No, and I was there during an election year 2002. No member. I used to be in touch with Derek Smith, a close friend of mine. I used to go to in office in constituency, not his constituency office. Maybe it was but he's a racehorse owner, So he used to give me racehorse, and we used to go to the Saturday and go buy racehorse and sing around with him. And he has never asked me one time. He was then the opposition spokesman and national secretary. Never asked me one time. Asked making the suggestions I must do anything to topple the PNP. And the PNP is very deliberate in recruiting people in the public. They went and they infiltrate the integrity corruption and try to topple the prime minister. That's what they do. The PNP. That's how criminals operate, That's how criminals operate. And let me tell you something, Jamaica. Let me tell you this. It is better to put 100 3 to 5 year olds in a barn with match. Give them a dozen each box of match and a 5 gallon container with gasoline. They would be safer in that barn with barn full of heat, dry heat. They would be safer in that barn than Jamaica would be safe under Mark Golin, the PNP led by Mark Golin. I mean, I make sure telling you this today, you better take this and smoke it down the pipe. Take this and smoke it in the pipe. Jamaica would be safer. The barn would be safer with 103 to 5 year old with gallons of gasoline and match than Jamaica would be under Mark Golin, the PNP. And I'm going to land here and stay and let somebody else speak.
So they have kind of given the government an ultimatum.
But can he be really elected though? Even though the election has come to an end, can he be re-elected?
No, because they are installing the person that has been.
Yes, not no.
elected.
Okay. Because what happened, they have their election already. So
okay.
Yes.
So maybe that's why he's coming out so bold now.
He's a last week, man. He's a last week.
Yes, man, because his time is up.
He's a last week.
Okay, so that's saying come out so bold then.
Yes, his time is up now.
Over the years, that JTA presidency look like it a pure PNP, the petition.
Garrison, yeah.
Yeah, PNP Garrison that. But you know, when the PNP was being formed, the JT was apartheid. When the PNP was founded, the JP was in that meeting, the JTA. It was not JT at the time, it was called some other teacher union name. But then changed the center. But I see him JTA. Was a part of the meeting with the PNP.
I think these things should be independent, have independent persons.
You must have independence in them.
Political persons. Whether JLP or PNP, we should have independent person who is able to think independently.
Totally agree with you, brother.
Who are a full-blown, the man is a full-blown PNP.
Yes. He was up there campaigning against James Robertson election after election. He's a principal of Paul Bogle High School, I think, high school,
yeah. But connected.
I know him. Go ahead, man.
Anjo alluded to it last night,
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
He alluded to it last night. When he said when he didn't come, a young teacher stopped him and said, boy, he want them to do better. So that caused him to talk about it last night.
It's not alluded, here is alluded.
Yeah, alluded to it. Sorry, thanks, Rusty.
I go think teacher.
Thanks, Rusty.
Yes, I think he said in don't want to compromise the economy, it make no sense. Because let's say you have to think wise in saying, because yes, we want to do better, we have to do better by the teachers. We are going to do better by them. But we don't want to say and explain our way. So we don't want to give away this and then the economy we're not going to all of it end up in one big problem about what we never want, So we want to think everything properly. So we want to be by stage and, so everybody is pleased and everybody can put food properly on the table. Because we don't want to crash the economy.
All right.
I mean, one girl
I didn't want to disturb you. Yeah, go ahead, Jamaica.
Girl, I will listen to the last one. She made a valid point. She was saying, okay, Julian was on the stage and he was saying, teachers deserve better than blah, 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 blah. Okay. For the whole entire speech, if I am saying to you, collective, you deserve better pay. So therefore, if you vote for me, I will give you such. The PNP has not opened this till this blessed day campaigning on the teachers. They have not put anything on the table. So they might bash Andrew, oh God, this teacher won't go. Okay, what did you put on the table last night? Did you say, teachers, since Andrew is giving you 0 whatever percent, we are going to give you 5, 6, 10. Say something. Tell the teachers what you are going to give them. And it make no sense of bashing somebody and yesterday can't say what you're going to give. Don't bash the minimum wage. I don't want to know PNP has not spoken about the minimum wage. What will you give away if you should ever farm the poor in this country? Will you raise the minimum wage, sir? You talk about full price gone up. What would you do to bring it down? You have not given a solution. So
Can't stop food price wrong go. Everybody can't stop food price wrong go, brother.
When you do not put a solution on the table, up until now, PNP have not put a solution on the table. Up until now. They have digital identification system in their book. It is ridiculous because PNP says Jamaica is not ready for it because England tried and it crashed. Look here, my memory good enough. My memory not short. England tried and it crashed. America tried and it crashed. If first world country tried these things and it crashed, why is Jamaica doing it? That was PNP saying. I remember clearly, no PNP have digital identification system in their book with biometrics. The same thing that they brought the government to court for, that biometrics was unconstitutional and we are forced people to figure up them personal information, blah, 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 blah. No, it is PNP book, which Jamaica already have nets. A digital identification system we already have. So I'm saying the PNP up until this point have not put anything on the table.
All right. I just want to follow up on something you said. During the PNP time, the debt to GDP ratio was as high as 140%. This government has brought it down now to 60-something percent, 68%. And it's still trending down. When the government grants a wage increase, especially the first union to sign, whatever that union signs, the term that is used. You know, my dear, I think Edward's giving out some sound. Some sound in the microphone. We see movements are going on. Movements are going on the phone. With them, the sound is that. All right, so the sound that they use, what's the mute, is service-wide implication. Service-wide. What that means? Any percentage increase that the union gets, the Police Federation usually signs first. And the Western Union, because we were very aggressively negotiating for the members, And a lot of the time, the Police Federation had vim, had pep in our steps. And we were in confrontational. We go out there around the table. When you see we go out there, over Black Road and Bunta, the negotiation break down completely. The negotiation can't break down, we just start April thing open. By the time the minister get the claim them and something and I go through them, because I go through them. I'm calling for the first meeting. They have had several meetings with them that is showing that significant progress is being made. And the teachers and the police members must hold their union leadership. So go on the table and tap on the night and stop on the cousin. The worst negotiation is better than the best confrontation. We used to negotiate and we get a lot. Sometimes some items, sticky items, we have to make nice for. And send out some press release. You have to start with some press release. And then start confront and call meetings after if they're not budge. But it's early days, and I read a letter by the Minister of Finance that they have had several meetings with the public sector unions, and they have gone through their items in the Police Federation in particular. As 50 claims, one know that because the minister said that, Minister Favour Williams said that. So the government now has to be careful what kind of increase then grant to the teachers or the federation or any one of them, because you know what? Under the PNP, you might get the increase, and you're not big increase in that, but you know then though, they had to go for a loan. If you have a GDP at over 100%, you have to go borrow money to pay your public sector. We can't go back to that. So whatever increase, and when an increase is being granted, the government and the unions as well have to look at the inflation rate. What is the inflation rate? You can't have an inflation rate at 5.5% and you look for increase at 25%. That out of whack. That is ridiculous. You get what I'm saying? Because if you have an inflation rate of 5.5%, you can't look for increase realistically of 25-30%. You mash up the economy. The same economy, where the model know. You know what model? Fling some tax by you. If you pay big, you big increase. No? The back again one and take it back in the next time. It's stupid. I mean, people have to think. Either you think or others have to think for you and take power from you. If you get an increase, where money will come from, pay you? Where money will come from? You must find the money from somewhere. Is there more flings on tax for you? I go borrow the money. Borrow money from IMF and load up some more loan by your head. You and your picking them. Like what the PNP did. So the economy is building, you know. And as time goes by, everybody will fall in the pool. But you can't come and demand the government has had a consistent inflation rate. Inflation rate has been trending down and under control. It is in the band that they told us that they would keep it, right? And so you can go up on the internet now and find out what is the inflation rate and begin to think what your salary increase should look like. Because if the inflation rate is 5%, between 5 and 6%, you can't ask the same government to manage the economy and manage the country in a way where then keep the inflation to 5 and 6%, and you are asked with 25 and 30%. That is ridiculous. That borders and ridiculous. So understand this. Any increase that the first union gets, the other unions are entitled to it. They might forget it too. So you must have a little economy that you have a build. And let me say this, you know. Jamaica is not out of the woods, you know. We're not out of the dangerous part that the PNP led us down, you know. The PNP led us down a dangerous part from 1972 right up until the last time they were, well, maybe in the last time they were in power. And Simpson Miller and Peter Phillips was the best time. I mean, it wasn't good because it was pure rate freezes. They never paid the public sector workers one dime. The public sector workers had salary freeze for years. And the PNP was a part of it, including the last 4. As a matter of fact, I heard Prime Minister reeling out the rate freezes. I didn't even realize that Manley had several years of rate freeze in the 70s and the Prime Minister Holness read it out. I didn't realize that in 2004, 5 and 6 going along, PJ had rate freezes. I didn't know until the Prime Minister read it out and he said, you know, I'm going to go up on I'm going to read it now because I don't want to make a mistake. I didn't go up on the phone and he read it out. The JLP probably had about 2 or 3 years in that what do they call it, the in international economic recession in 2008 that nearly mashed up the whole world. The JLP, I think they started that rate freeze in 2010 and 2011. 2 years out of all of the years. All of the years. There were several years of rate freeze, maybe more than about 12. The JLP had 2 years out of it. The PNP is known to freeze the salary. Don't tell no foolishness now. And chicken no. I tricks them. They might promise to they hold that door now, you know. And all they want to do is get them yay pan the kitty. The economy is running good now, so the PNP wants to get their hands and their fingers on the national treasury. So listen. So listen to me. Listen to me. I'm going to land now, brother. They just come up and a lot of people here know that things to do too. I am putting it out to the people of Jamaica that you have a responsibility to yourself and don't sit down in your yard and say you're uncommitted. If you're anybody who says that I am uncommitted, no. You are saying you're uncommitted to yourself, to your children, to your brothers and sisters if you have smaller siblings. But most importantly, you are saying that you are uncommitted to Jamaica, to generations unborn. Choose Jamaica. Be a part of this very important election cycle. We are at an inflection point now. I want you to grasp that with both hands. At the end of the day, years down the road, you should be able to tell your family members that I am a part of this history making. And Michael Holness has first world status in mind for Jamaica, and he has started to build it out already. But that needs time. It took Singapore 25 years We've gone 9 out of the 5 already, and the signs and the signals are there. The hospital has been built out, the police, the national security apparatus, the agriculture, them building up Parnassus on a Clarendon, this agri park, where they might have storage, store food. That means you're not hungry and not pay high price for agriculture produce. Allow them to do it. It is very clear. It is on the wall. A lot of us might not see it, but trust the spirit of the living God that is talking to you. Don't go in there. Even if you're going to the polling station in your orange clothes, let your conscience be your guide. Don't let the party be your guide. Let your conscience. And if you have any conscience at all, it is clear who you would vote for. This colossal homicide numbers. 20 odd years that the PNP started in 1997. Over 1,000 of us were being brutally unalive for 20 odd years. And this government will bring it down to under 800 this year. And if you keep them, they are going to take it down next year. If the PNP come back, based upon their previous performances, the homicide rate will go back up next year. Trust me on that one. It happened with Michael Manley. First time, he won 72. Homicide went up by 500% on the PNP. 500 from 145 to 889. But you think they may finish yet? The JLP brought it down back. Mr. Siaga brought it down back to 400 and gave it to the PNP in 1989 February. And in the first year again, homicide went up past 500. Never passed the JLP. 500 never. We never had 500 homicide under Mr. Siaga. As the PNP come back 500. You think they done yet? Then they start. Homicide went up to 1,674 in 2005 under PJ Patterson and Peter Phillips. And the JLP brought it down back again 2011 to 1,100. And when the PNP, Peter Bunting was the security minister, when they left office in 2016, February, the homicide by 2015 went up back to 1,200. The JLP has since brought it down back from starting from 2023, 8%, 2024, 19%. This year so far, 42%. First government in the history of independent Jamaica has brought homicide down 3 consecutive years. This is Andrew Michael. Don't make the PNP fool you. I am stepping out of my house in Montego Bay. You know, I live in Montego Bay, and I'm any hours and night no one drive out, go by in the road. They're busy. If me left something in my car, even meet, if me buy one phone and leave it in my car and forget it, it go stay till daylight. I mean, I go to the door. And I'm afraid, but you have to be cautious. No, it's different. Every township in Jamaica is coming alive now. Don't take those things for granted in Jamaica. Don't take those things for granted. Look at those things and think about those things. Think about your future. 1,000 Jamaicans perish 20 years no straight because of PNP. I don't know. Nobody should even thinking about PNP now. You shouldn't even thinking about PNP. The PNP are losing 63 seats. If you're really thinking about your country, if you're thinking with your conscience, if you're not thinking party line, Al Margolin would not be in the parliament. Take that from me. And I'm getting emotional, so I'm going to allow somebody to come in.
Yeah, go ahead, Daddy. Like go your open, man.
Would I Rodden?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah. What I wanted was to say, really, Mark Golden said something which I was expecting him to say it, and it's so good, the right timing, and I can beat on that. When he says that when he get in power, him our charter him own pathway, him not gonna continue. No, them say Andrew continue with a couple of things from Mama P and certain things and certain whatever. And that is what taking Jamaica to another level. He continued with some of the policies and some of the thinking and the thoughts of Siaga and pure Michael Manley and his successor way a bit before. That is what Andrew brought all the ideas and the ideas from other countries and read up and look on it. Well, when we speak, Marcia will say, oh, wow, this is going on in Canada. Wow, this is going on in Africa. Wow, this is going on in Guyana. You understand? So all the things that he can put together, is putting together ideas, new visions and plans. And it all line up. All we need, all Andrew or the JLP party need is just more time. Okay, and he's saying that he's going to shut down some of the plans that is in progress. We're done past the $360 billion that's set aside for these projects. Money to fund the art for the young people, to get them tertiary skills and all of that. I'm going to look into this and many ideas of some things that is helping cushion various pilot various projects, the expansion of hospitals and many things like that. That goes to show, you know, he's tumbling all the progress of the country that's set, that Andrew have been on, or the JLP led government have been on to take us in the way forward for the 21st century. So this is now what I'm now saying to the civil servant and the public sectors and all the various people, that this is why they have to vote for Jamaica. They have to now look into dismantling the progress that we have already gone through, all the things, no new taxes, right? And the only way when you dismantle this is because they are planning to smuggle, to scam out billions of dollars. So when you dismantle it and come up with ideas when I have no money behind it and no figures behind it, money will be sniffing out of the country, the revenue, to go into their international account that they have. So Jamaicans, teachers, policemen, and all of that, we look for them raise because they love, as we just said a while ago, they love to do raise freeze. They actually threaten the public sector worker by telling them that we are either lay you off or retire early. So it's either that or you take the wage freeze. So they were blackmail on the PJ, you understand, for them to accept the wage freeze. So it's not like they were saying it's a choice. They didn't have a choice. And the union actually is the one that are politically, and they are working on the interest of politics and their political party, and not on the interest of these unions such as the nurses and the teachers. They are not working on their behalf. Never has been working on their behalf. It was Audley Shaw, you understand, and Bruce who decided to take the salary from way down the bottom and promise them to take it the level of salary to the private sector. And now between Nigel and Andrew, their salary is so way up top that people are leaving the private sector and going into the government in the public sector for job. That the private sector is crying out, so we are losing people, can't find people to fill our gap because they're heading to government. So your life is a threat too. Your future is a threat. Your loans that we have in front of you a threat. Your car payment, your mortgage is a threat, and your children's education and future university is a threat. So that is what I just want to add on. So this is the reason why you're voting, not for JLP, not for PNP, but for the future of your children, because their life is at stake. Because Golden admit that he's going to dismantle, and he's going to choose when he want to choose. He will dismantle the buses. So this is for the PNP parents. He will dismantle the buses, him say, right? They will park them, and they will deal with the taxi-men. Well, already, I'm not saying all taxi-men. I'm not telling a figure, say 50% or 60%. But we know we have at least 25% of criminal element into the transportation system that are abusing our children. And this is why we need a public government transportation system for our children to protect our children. You understand? So that's why I rest my case.
Good morning. Good morning.
1 minute, Mr. Winston. Let me clear something with Russ. Come here 1 minute, please. Because I try to get the information regarding where is the tour today in Clarendon, and me not get no concrete argument. Come here say Prime Minister then I own a constituency today. So you go. Rusty. Mr. Rusty, can you please reach out to me? Give me a call.
No, the Prime Minister not constituency today. No.
Sister is.
Where will the Prime Minister be today?
In a constituency.
And that me hear him say.
I think you spend the whole day in there, man. Even going there, you're not going to spend the whole day in there.
Must spend the whole day in the connecting, because that is what he has been doing in the last two Sundays.
Okay. I think place that, you know.
Yeah, must go, but he must go on between people too.
No, I think place that, you know. People don't love him. I don't know, love him. They can't we love him, they can't we love him.
So I want Rusty tell me what am I saying? Why you got Rusty? My hear
I'm here to ask a case.
Any other tour after nomination? He will not be, the Prime Minister not going back to any other country after nomination there. So at Manchester would have been Tuesday. Central Manchester and South Manchester would have Tuesday.
Oh.
Yes. The Prime Minister do film constituency today.
The touring one a constituency. All right.
Well,
All right.
Kizzy,
Guess what?
well,
What's
Kizzy,
it? What's it and more?
Prime Minister, TikTok page. You were saying yesterday.
President walk out of the meeting. What he literally did, you know, what he might tell him, say, no, they give more negotiation not on to go on because not feel mind him tell himself, say, Marcus, he will win the next election, so then can negotiate. Because currently now, everything they can stand still till after the election, so no negotiation can go on.
Well, Nathaniel, what we must remember now, we must remember that famous life note that was put out that all the allies they must rally.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Which that one is one of the biggest one.
Yeah, we know that the JLPNP to even put something more substantial. Like to see implement by the government for the betterment of education. It is not, it's never about that. It's never about that. It is always about the party. And that's why I say to you all the while that the PNP is very much institutionalized in this country, right? And that, so the point I also wanted to make this morning, there is this young man in the nickname Poji, who go around from one community to another community in Southeast St. Mary and highlight sore eye issue, so to speak. And he talk about the shortcoming of the member of parliament. Most labor right taking offense to it. But I think it is a good strategy by what he's doing as a private citizen. Because what happened is, as he outlined them, the member of parliament follow behind and get them fixed. And at the end of the day, the people who suffer from these shortcomings will now benefit by getting them remedy. What we wanted to know going forward is that the Jamaica Labour Party now must get it in their head, the members, and I'm speaking specifically to the elected MPs and councillors, that there's no room for them to slack off, because when the PNP party is in opposition, every potential voter for the People's National Party is also in opposition, and that they will do everything to oppose the government and highlight the shortcomings of the government. And so therefore, this will only make the Jamaica Labour Party more strident and more committed
in their duty. Another point I want to make is this quickly. When Ronnie Tweed was the Minister of Education under the Portia-led administration, Ronnie Tweed stood up in the parliament and said, he have no problem living with bad road in his constituency. Or when he traversing through Jamaica, he must encounter bad road. Because he know and he understand the situation that the Jamaica economy is presently in. And he willing to make the sacrifice so the situation can be remedied. Jamaica people also was listening to me. Road and works right across Jamaica was one of government casualty, meaning that fixing the economy, there are certain ministries of government that the government has underfinance, right? Nestor Morgan, who is the Minister of Works now, outlined to us and showed that in 2014, 2015, that the government, both local government and National Work Agency Road and Works, it was only 700 million spent for the entire budget in here. 700 million. And since this government is in power, I think last year the government must spend something like over $7 billion on roads. So compare 7 billion to 700 million, right? So I am saying to you that yes, there are a lot of roads in community that needed to be repaired. But if a member of parliament have 30, 40, 50 roads, he can't fix all of them one time because the budgetary support are just not there. And so we go along year by year, we have to just get some done little by little by little, right? The country is, as Mr. Morgan said earlier, the country is not yet out of the woods. And the Prime Minister cannot afford to start to act recklessly just by our political expediency. Because if he do that, him and the minister them, the country will find itself right back in the same situation, right? And this will send a bad signal to our multilateral agency that is guiding us, working with us as partners. And it's also, remember, you know, brother, when a man got to take up $1 billion to come and invest in a Jamaica, you know what first thing you do? You go up the multilateral website and look on what they are saying about Jamaica. You go up the rating agency website and look on the rating that the country is in. You go up the BOJ website and look on the stability of the central bank of the country, the interest rate, how much money they have in the NIR. Then look on the then go up the various website and look on the consumer confidence and all of these things. All of these things have to take into consideration before our investors from overseas can risk their money in Jamaica, So if this government now started to act in a manner carelessly, so to speak, with the country's finance, this will send a negative message to potential investors. You understand? And they will not risk their capital in our country where government is not acting prudently. And so therefore, my Jamaican people, don't be misled. Don't get carried away. We are not out of the woods as a country. And the teachers now are behaving in a manner like they are a special group and that they are more important than all other public sector bodies. It is not so. When the government, let me tell you something. The government is trying its best to curtail inflation. If the government to give too of a large increase to public sector workers, my Jamaican people, this will create inflation in the country. So the very same thing that we are complaining about, right? And a call upon government for team. If the government give too much of a big increase, it will create too much money in the economy and it will create inflation. and the most vulnerable in the society.
A lot of
will
teachers
sit in
go and
the
lose them
pinch.
work. Those are the things they need to consider. Lot of them go and lose them work.
You understand me? So the most vulnerable of the society, the minimum wage earner, that group of person will suffer the most, the little pensioner. You understand me? So government have to try to balance the science as best as they can. We are not a mineral-rich economy where the government can say, all right then, let me up production in the mining sector so we can able to get in some more funds and do this and do that. So why? So you see, I'm saying to you, these teachers, these union bodies are not negotiating on the behalf of Jamaica. They are negotiating on the behalf of the People's National Party and their own self-interest. And I will rest here, let somebody else say something. Thank you.
Yeah, man, respect that, Winston, respect.
Winston raised very, very important and pointed issues. Every time that the teachers get, well, not the teachers, but the public sector workers get a good increase, it usually comes under the Jamaica Labour Party. Bruce Golding led the administration, David Shaw, the Minister of Finance, gave the public sector workers a sizable increase, even when there was an international economic recession and the country was under the weather. The reclassification exercise, I want the public sector workers to understand that this that I get something on the table for decades, salary reclassification, but we never had to run the economy to by this government led by Dr. Holness with Dr. Nigel Clark as the Minister of Finance. So don't get it twisted. This reclassification is a gift. Well, I wouldn't say a gift, can you work for it? But it's a recognition, it's the way that the government use to recognize your contribution and your sacrifices. We know how the economy to give you the salary through this reclassification exercise. It didn't come under any pressure from any public sector. They voluntarily gave what the country could afford in this reclassification exercise and put you in a much better position now. One of the very salient points raised by my brother Winston is that any recklessness now, any reckless spending by this government will drive inflation. You don't want to get 5%. And remember now, all of what is this back, all of the goodies, including the classification, all the reverse income tax, all this 20,000 that you will be getting in the program. Miss look at my light bill, and miss my light bill reduced 2 times, one time after that, by 20%. Right? The reduction in GCT on my light bill and our light bill from 50 to 7. Your pocket, money in your pocket that every time you go pay your light bill, Andrew put money in your pocket. Money in your pocket by Andrew Holness. The lunch, the free lunch you then get, the stipend you then get, money in your pocket, because you would have to find the bus you get and pay hard to for them to get a skill. If you have a daughter or a son trying to get a student loan to go to university or college, money in your pocket because the interest rate has been significantly reduced under this government. They have removed the guarantor requirement, no hassle. It used to be a big hassle, you have to carry not one but 2 guarantor to student loan under the PNP. The JLP said no, we now put it through that. You know why we were able to get that? Dr. the Most Honorable Jamaica Loan has benefited from student loan. I saw the PNP publishing name in a green saying he was in arrears in a student loan. So he is touched with the feelings of or infirmity. I don't want to make it sound like him a God. I know him not God. Him a human being like us. But what I will say though is that God has anointed and appointed this man, the Most Honorable Jamaica Holness, for this particular season. Don't miss it, Jamaica. Do not miss this opportunity that is being offered to us, because the PNP has proven, and you know, right up until 2016 when the JLP won this election, between 89 and 2016, you know, the PNP had 23 years in office, you know, including 19 years straight, non-stop. God put them there to prove to, you know, to prove to all of us, including PNP activists, that the PNP no good. And God put them there in a time when there was nothing, absolutely nothing. God held back his hand with hurricanes. God held back his hand with earthquakes, with tsunami, with pandemic. The pandemic that hit us 2020. You know why God did that? Because God knows that the PNP itself, the Pandemic National Party, the PNP, is a disaster by itself. They need no more disaster. The PNP has never had a major disaster for all the 30 years that they go in Jamaica, from 72 till 2016.
And it is so ironic, connecting.
Yes.
It's so ironic when you think about it, right? You realize that, when you use God in the making, one would have want to understand that God has something to do with at all times.
Everything.
All right. For example, you can look at the track record of the PNP and the track record of the Jamaica Labour Party. Because even last night I was talking to some people and I was saying to them, do you realize what was taking place in the 60s? Everything was happening for the people in the 60s, Think about that, See, you didn't have a lot of road being constructed, medical facility was under construction.
Schools.
Many schools.
Nearly 200 schools.
While that was happening, every time that the Jamaica Labour Party poised the economy for a takeoff, that's when the PNP come back into play,
And write it off.
Yes. And then he set back the economy again. Because as you are saying, rightly, Siaga struggled within the period that Siaga got the country. He struggled to keep the economy, to build back the economy. He was struggling. You get me? There was a tightening up of the fiscal policies. You have to tighten up. And the people, because of how the mind of the people was created under a Michael Manley regime, then when Mr. Siaga come now and begin to tighten back up in the fiscal management of the economy, the people could not bear it.
Bear it out until.
You understand what I'm saying? So they never give him another chance. When he poised the country for takeoff in 1989, when everything was at a balance, here comes the PNP again.
Pandemic National Party.
Yes, I remember, as you said, as it pertaining to natural disaster. Remember, one of the greatest natural disasters that ever hit the country was 1988.
Hurricane Gilbert.
Yes. And
Monday the 12th of September 1988. I remember it.
Yes. How long did it take the Siaga-led administration to really put back things together?
Months.
Yeah, remember.
Months.
Yes. Remember that.
Months.
I remember that JPS got overseas help,
Yes. Because of Hedy. I know he was managing.
Yes. Right? Because the man stabilizes the economy. Because you have to look at the importance of the economy. The PNP, notice one thing, they have a conference. They have a lot of meetings all over the country. And take a look. I don't know if people listen to them, They never include the management of the economy in any one of their meetings at all. They don't include the economy in it. Then keep talking about
putting $2 billion here and allocating another $1 billion there and another $2 billion there. This is what the PNP keep on doing. Why? Because they understand the common man is going to gravitate to message like those. Yeah, then we talk about where the money is going to come from to facilitate things such as the improvement of the road network. Then we talk about that, you know, brother. You see, we have to listen and understand. Then come with everything that is sweet and nice. Because that's what, you know, you have some people, you have some women, when you go to them, you go check them, you know. You just tell them what they want to hear.
Unfortunate.
It's a very unfortunate situation. You know you want a woman. See if you carry go home tonight, yeah.
You promise her don't turn and parade. Professor, you know easy. No. Yes, you promise her don't turn and parade. Oh, no, that's your thing going on. But you know, I want to add something to what you just said a while ago. I want to add a little thing. I mean, these are very, very salient points. And some to the person who is wondering why we're going back, but we have to go back to show you how the JLP builds and the PNP destroys. Yes. You know that in that Siaga era, you know that we were hit by an international economic recession in 1983, 2 years after the JLP won. Yes. There was a terrible international economic recession that he had to grapple with. But before I even get to that, Nigel Clark about 2 years ago told in the parliament, told this country that when Michael Manley, the economy that Michael Manley inherited in 1972, when the election was called, I think it was March or thereabout.
Nobody remember Polo My Lighties, brother.
Yes, but he said the economy that he inherited in 1972, when he handed back the country to the JLP, the economy was 40 times worse than what we got it. No PNP, no PJ was a part of that cabinet. As refuted that. When it come for set record straight. Lie, pure lie and can tell. No PNP refuted that. That Nigel Clark, the brilliant road scholar, told this country that the economy that Michael Mann inherited, when he gave it back, it was 40 times worse. He went on further to say that when Mr. Siaga handed it back to the PNP in 1989 February, in spite of an international economic recession in 1983, in spite of a Category 5, massive Category 5 Hurricane Gilbert that swept across Jamaica on Monday, the 12th of September, 1988. Unaliving about 50, I think 53 persons were unalived in that hurricane. Thousands of roofs went. Siaga was able, in all of that chaos, to return the economy to Michael Manley and in early February 1989. With that economy that Michael crashed 40 times worse was now 20 times worse than it was when Michael gave it to Siaga. In spite of all these things, he went on further to tell the country at the time when he was speaking about 2 years or so ago that the economy was still reeling from the effect of Manleyism because it was still 2.5 times worse than it was when he got the country. Thank God that deficit has totally, we are ahead again. Thanks to Andrew Holness and the JLP.
But the dollar was 750. Put in that.
No, less than that. Not 7.
Less than that, 550. 550.
Not 750. I remember that. 550.
All right.
And the dollar.
When Michael take it back, it started to climb to 750. Right, go on.
Right. The dollar, yes. When PNP came back in 1889, by the time they left office in 2007, the dollar slid by over 1,000% under the PNP. That must have the country. No wonder the country was in such a bad shape when the JLP got it back in 2007. And now we come back now. Because we have been down this road before, you know. We went there 72 and experimented with the